So I've been hearing a lot of talk about October 4th, and if October 4th doesn't go off, October, I think it's either 10th or 11th, and it's at 2:20 Eastern Standard Time. And basically what they want to do is a black note. And so I don't know if you guys, obviously the crystal glass, you match the resonant frequency, you can shatter the crystal glass, and they came out with this tech called the black note that can basically mess us up as humans. And so what was the plan? The plan was to pack a whole bunch of people full of metal, right? And then use this black note to basically, it's like radiation that makes you pop like popcorn, or it makes, let's say, metal and aluminum pop like popcorn. So if you have this stuff in you, you may have some issues. So they're saying to turn off your cell phone at 2:20 Eastern Standard Time, or I would say to go as far as to turn it off at 2 o'clock and leave it off for a whole hour. And then also spread the word if this resonates with you, because if this is a thing, there's going to be a massive issue come October 4th if they actually do this. So it's not what you think it is. A lot of people say they're going to try to say that it's something else. It's actually just microwaves and metal in your body. That's all they're doing. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing, well, it's crazy. It's nothing new, let's say, from their playbook. So I just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Make sure you spread the word. If this resonates with you, just make sure your phones are off, okay? Unplug for an hour. It's good to do that anyway. Don't have your phone in your pocket. Turn it off. Put it in your bedside table. Leave it at home. Put it in your car. Don't have it with you and don't have it on. That's my advice to you. And that's for October 4th. If it doesn't happen October 4th, they're going to plan it. I think it's either the 10th or 11th. So keep looking at TikToks. Keep figuring out what's actually going on and then plan accordingly. I'll do the same.
Well, that's a rather interesting position coming from a man on a crusade against the evils of technology.
I'm not against technology, Doctor. I'm against the men who deify it at the expense of human truth.
Armor of Truth. Live.
In the age of technocracy, scientism, and pop atheism,
Faith is resistance.
Nietzsche, of course, announced the death of God and called for the birth of the Übermensch, the Superman, who would take humanity to new heights and to create a new world order.
Find us at the Armor of Truth YouTube channel. And log on. armoroftruth.net.
This noise you hear here is the screeching sound a Mooresville family has been hearing around the clock for several days now. The noise coming from a cell phone tower right behind their house. Tonight, RTV6's Nicole Griffin is finding out what was causing it and learning now that it has stopped, the family has new concerns.
For 4 days, a family living here in Mooresville has heard a loud screeching sound coming from the equipment right here surrounding this cell phone tower. Now tonight, after doing research about living so close to the tower, they're concerned about their health and safety.
After a few hours, it just wasn't stopping, and I could hear it all the way to my back door. I called the police and I told them that there's just a strange alarm sound, and it was just nerve-wracking.
Will Adamson is feeling uneasy after days of listening to this sound coming from the Verizon cell phone tower behind his house. After calling police and Verizon technicians, the sound stopped Tuesday afternoon. We asked Verizon what was going on. A spokesperson says there was a false alarm coming from the generator that supports the cell site. The issue was fixed Tuesday morning, and Verizon says it's going to rewire the generator in order to avoid the issue in the future.
It might be quiet right now, but what was making the noise and what kind of frequencies are shooting out from this thing.
Indeed, what kind of frequencies are shooting out from this thing? What is that? Summer, what's happening?
Maybe it's the black note of radiation.
The black note. Have you? I'd never heard of the black
I've never
note.
heard of the black note until today.
Apparently, the black note is a frequency, and it's a frequency that is. Well, it's a frequency that makes things react. And in this case, it would be a black note, meaning that it would cause something harmful.
What he said is makes aluminum pop like popcorn.
Makes aluminum pop like popcorn. You know, ostensibly whatever is in people for whatever reason, however it got there, it would cause it to react in some way. Don't know about that. What I do know is that rumors run rampant around the net as the most audacious internet soothsayers foretell the coming of a mammoth calamity on October the 4th. Everything from nationwide blackouts to the broadcast of frequencies designed to activate graphene nanoparticles, that came along in the payload with the jabby jab. Well, we have an article for you at Substack that we've just released. We'll officially release it tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's when you'll get your alert
for the mobile app
on your Armor of Truth mobile app. That'll be the official release. But those of you watching tonight, you get it early, right? And so there's a very specific message in that. I'm not telling you that what these people are saying. I'm not telling you that they're just wrong or they don't know what they're talking about. I've got a specific message for you around all this, and you'll get some of that here in this show tonight. But it's in writing for you at the Armor of Truth Substack or on the Armor of Truth mobile app, which you need to download today. Apologies for, that's where you get the alert when we go live. So apologies for coming on later than we said in the Subsplash notification. But that article is called "An Oversize October Surprise. Live not by lies." So it appears that government agencies have planned to run a nationwide test of the emergency alert system, both wireless. Basically, it's the terrestrial and satellite radio and TV. That's one system. And then the other system is for mobile devices or cellular broadband devices. And that's going to happen on October 4th with a backup date for October the 11th. The time will be at 2:20 Eastern, 11:20 Pacific. What else is going to happen along with that? I don't know. Some posts out here on the social media are referring to the movie Cell, based on a Stephen King horror novel in which a mysterious pulse sent to cell phones turns people into horrible zombies.
That's what came to my mind as soon as I heard about it. I was thinking about that movie.
Yeah, we saw that recently, and it's rough. I don't recommend it. It's
not to be recommended.
It's a rough flick. We watched it, because of the subject matter, specifically with the cell tower, and a frequency comes out, and it sort of, it
puts everybody into a zombie trance.
Yeah. So here's a little from Found Flicks, the Found Flicks YouTube channel, on Stephen King's movie Cell. It's a 2016 movie. Just listen to it. This will give you a little bit of the background if you're not familiar with the movie. Check this out.
Which brings us to Cell. Basically, there's a strange signal that goes off simultaneously from people's cell phones and turns them into violent zombies. Well, sort of zombies. They're still people, but they call them phoners.
No phoners come through here?
Phoners. This whole signal mind control thing is eerily similar to Jackson's plan in Kingsman as well. Anyway, Cusack is a graphic designer going through difficulties with his estranged family. He's at the airport on the phone with his son Johnny, and geez, look at all the people on their cell phones. When will they learn? Cell phones equal evil, y'all. Then a signal pulses out from everyone's cell phones and all hell breaks loose. Cusack is forced to fend for his life, including with this weird spider ball thing that he has. He meets up with a subway driver played by Sammy Jackson. They team up and make their way to finding Cusack's son. But another recruit joins them on the way out, probably my favorite character in the movie, DJ Liquid!
They call me DJ Liquid.
But alas, it was not meant to be. A few seconds later in the tunnels, he meets his end from a phoner with an axe. DJ Liquid, no! We didn't even get his full backstory. How did he become the one and only DJ Liquid?
I don't even remember DJ Liquid. Do you remember DJ Liquid?
I guess I kind of remember. I think they were down in the tunnel or something. I think that was that guy.
Yeah.
But
that was early in the movie. I think I was probably indisposed.
But it has it's like they're once the signal went out, they all sort of went into this hive mind, and when they open their mouth, they would transmit the signal.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird flick. So the relation there, though, is this test that's going to be happening on October 4th it has a certain element of the internet in an uproar. Social media is aflame with all sorts of interesting theories about the signals that will be deployed and the harmful health effects they may cause. Some are saying that you said this already, but the theory of graphene oxide will be activated, could possibly be activated by frequencies. Is there anything to that? There's a claim from a Romanian scientist that was made a couple years ago that liquid crystals in some of these treatments could be receptors for electronic signals. Okay, that's all plausible, right? Crystals and metals reacting with
play
frequencies.
that one about the tunes and the tones.
Which one?
The one where she's talking about it being a vibration.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump. We'll go ahead and do that one.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find her. There she is. Yeah. Okay. So this is what a lot of people are saying is on this day, October 4th at 2:20 Eastern, 11:20 Pacific. This is it. You got to turn your phone off. You got to turn your phone off to avoid the potentially nefarious effects from the signal. What do we do with all this? I mean, we're not new to these tests. Before I play her clip, let me give a little more background here about what we've got. A FEMA spokesman. Now, I'm not here to tell you that FEMA is going to tell you the truth about everything. But we need to be responsible. We need to be careful. And I'll tell you exactly why in just a bit. But a FEMA spokesperson said that the audio signal, basically on your phone, you're going to get the same kind of audio signal that you get for an Amber Alert or something like that. But they said that the audio signal is going to be the same combination of tones that you get for that. And on the television radio, it's going to be the same annoying tone, the same tone you hear at the beginning of this show, actually, that you've heard. Is this it? Let's see.
The hammer comes.
No, that's not it.
Oh, that's
I don't have it, do I? Oh, it's at the end of the clip. That's right. The emergency broadcast system clip.
Yes.
Well, it's been in use since 1963. That annoying sound. That's from the original emergency broadcast system. They're the same broadcasts we've seen for decades. And according to FEMA, it's harmless. Or is it? Or is it? What is actually happening? All right, well, look here at the FEMA's website. They've got the release here,
Well, it's like what we were talking about earlier, that back in 2018 is when they put the first national alert out ever.
That was the presidential alert. That was weird because that was something new. Nobody knew what it meant. There was the presidential. It just said at the top, just like on our thumbnail, instead of emergency alert, it said presidential alert.
Yeah.
And it was strange. That was 2018, but
so the internet definitely erupted.
Yeah, it was
with
weird.
A lot of conspiracies around it.
Yeah, so that was this system. That was the first time this system was used. And on October 4th of this year, FEMA and the FCC, in collaboration with the FCC, are planning to conduct a nationwide emergency alert system. That's the EAS. That is the television and radio. And wireless emergency alert, WEA test. That's for the phones. The test will occur across multiple platforms on Wednesday, October the 4th at approximately 2:20 p.m. Have you got that enough? Have you heard that enough? Now you know what time it's coming. And 11:20 Pacific. Now, this nearly inescapable alert will be seen and heard on terrestrial and satellite radio and television and most cell phones in the United States and the territories. And what you will receive is an emergency notification. Now, specifically, the WEA, the wireless emergency alert, what you can expect from your phone, you'll get an alert. with a unique tone and vibration and a message that says this is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. That's if nothing's happening. What's strange is the history of whenever these drills that go live. You remember? You remember on 911? Remember? That was that day in Manhattan. There was a drill that went live. There were drills all over the nation that suddenly went live that day. We can't talk about that here on YouTube. That's said about all I can say there, but there is a history of drills going live, and especially with boomsticks, and those where a lot of people are involved. So that being said, we'll acknowledge that much for sure. Just be on your toes. But now for the wireless, cell towers will repeat the signal for approximately 30 minutes. Now you're going to hear the wide-eyed soothsayers on social media giving you all kinds of explanations for what all the. It just means that the cell tower is going to put out the signal for 30 minutes. Once it hits your phone, then it's done. It's not like it's going to continue continuous tone for 30 minutes. That's crazy. But that's for the wireless. Now on the other, for the television and radio, the test will be sent to, will interrupt regular broadcasting with an alert and message lasting about 1 minute. And with the message, this is a nationwide test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. No action is required by the public. So it's, some new verbiage. But all the tones are the same, what we've been used to. Now, a lot of people are saying, no, it's going to be from the towers, man. You don't know. Okay. We'll see what happens. Officials say the purpose of the nationwide emergency alert test is to confirm that the systems are in working order, and that they can be activated swiftly to minimize confusion and maximize public safety, or possibly to maximize confusion and minimize public safety. We have good reason to not trust the federal government and its agencies today. That's one thing, these folks who are making all these wild claims, they have a right to question the federal government and these agencies. They have, the government and the agencies have earned it. It's gonna take a long time before they can ever earn back the trust of the people, of all of us. So let's go ahead and play this clip for you here, and let's get started with the fun. If I can find it, I've lost it. Here it is.
Responding to comment, 30 minutes is very suspicious. Why? This is in regards to the emergency alert system that's going to be tested on Wednesday, October 4th for everyone. At the bottom, I notice it says that the phone's alert will be accompanied by unique tone and vibration. Let's talk about tones and vibrations. This here is a Cyma 1000. This is a machine I
just want to point this out. Summer, help me out here. What she's leading off by telling you, be afraid of the tones and frequencies. Meanwhile, let me show you how I use tones and frequencies on people. But I use it for healing. Yeah, okay. Right. You familiar with this, right?
Well, when I was living in Bali, I got introduced to this app, this mobile app. I've spoken about it before here on the show, called Healy. And it claimed that you could download the app and you could do a reading of yourself with your cell phone through the app, and you could assess the health of your heart, your liver, your kidneys, and then based on that reading, you could then give yourself frequencies from your own cell phone to heal yourself. Healy.
Oh,
so
there it is.
I just found it outrageous. And of course, they want all this information about you, and so then you've got your phone hooked up to a network where they're tracking you, and I was very suspicious of it, to say the least.
Yeah, doubt.
Totally.
It's that is modern snake oil. We'll let her finish.
Yeah.
It is the basis of an app and a website that I have called Cymatones. And it plays 5 resonant frequencies through this vibrating speaker. So this is tones and vibration, just like the alert we were just talking about. And it's targeting different ailments or body parts.
Not just like the tones that are coming through the phone. Not just like
Well,
them.
these are healing vibrations,
Of
according
course,
to
right?
her.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Sorry, I stand corrected. These are healing frequencies. Those tones that come through the phone, they're not healing frequencies. This is ridiculousness, folks.
To retune them back to a balance in our.
You see there now, there's your chakras. There's a little hint too. You're going to get your chakras realigned by my healing frequencies.
Your
Chakras. Where I come from, it's
it's chakras.
Chocolate.
Chakras.
Harmonious energy body. See, our energy body's got all these different pathways, and if there's blockages in whether it's the water, because we're made of water, or in the energy pathway, then what that does is it causes a physical ailment. The physical ailments can be retuned by different tunes and tones. Back to October 4th. What tones and vibrations do you think the government's going to be playing for us? And why 30 minutes? The water...
Okay, they're not playing the tones for 30 minutes, man. You got to pay more attention.
Well,
You've got to pay closer attention.
I mean, to be fair, this woman is probably just using it as a business opportunity for promotion.
Probably.
But, but there are people that really believe this stuff.
Yeah. Now, I'm terribly interested in the golden ratio, the golden section, golden ratio, and how that shows up in nature. Now, that's just the fingerprints of God there, but they take it a little too far.
When your body resonates to different sounds, tones, and vibrations it is surrounded with, and not only does it vibrate to that while it's hearing it, but it remembers it within 5 to 7 minutes. Dr. Gerald Pollack on YouTube is a great resource for water. So while my device plays tones and vibrations that promote wellness, what's playing on October 4th?
Well,
right.
Same tones you hear every day.
In futuristic movies, though, they always put people in a tank, and then suddenly they're sort of like cooked in some way. And I think that the idea is that they're using tones and frequencies to heal and regenerate the body.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, now look.
But that's not, that's not like available to the public.
Yeah. So, well, to be, just to be straightforward, it's no doubt frequencies can affect you. If you ever been to a concert and it was a particular kind of music, where there was a lot of low bass, droning bass, a certain frequency, make you sick, make you nauseated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no doubt. It's not a secret. Yeah, it's frequencies definitely have an effect on our bodies. They can affect on your brain for sure. But it's not really any kind of exact science. And I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to get sidetracked yet. But so this is the FCC website. They just explain basically most of what we've already said. That the main point on the FCC website is that you can opt out of these alerts when they're imminent threat alerts or amber alerts or public safety messages, but you can't opt out of the national alerts. So that's interesting. You can block all carriers may allow subscribers to block all but national alerts. I know on my phone it's turned off, but I've never heard one of those alerts. So apparently I'll hear one on the 4th. I'm not afraid to leave my phone on. I'm aware of what's inside the phone. I know how the phone is made. There's not a possibility of my phone attacking me. It's bad enough that it's in my hand constantly and it holds my attention so much. That's what it's unhealthy in that way. But I was just looking through here to see if they mentioned frequencies. because they're not going to, because that would be specifically from the manufacturer of the phone. Okay, so there's that. Now let's look around a little bit more here on Twitter and see some more of the X soothsayers. More of the same here. They're just announcing it's going to be happening. This says my recommendation for October 4th is turn your cell phones off during this time. Okay, that's a reasonable suggestion. Turn off your Wi-Fi routers in this time.
Well, this will be an interesting test for them to see who turns the phone off.
Yeah, it would, because they'll know. They can tell who turns their phones off and who turns their Wi-Fi and cable boxes off. I know people are not going to agree with me. This is one of those topics here that probably half or 3/4 of the people who watch this channel are just going to disagree with what I'm going to say here today. Probably some will disagree with some of what
personally,
I'm
going to turn my phone off for a couple of hours. Yeah. I just will.
Yeah.
Out of principle.
I'll probably do it with you. Yeah, because I might not.
Yeah, maybe you can, and I won't.
I'll go elsewhere, so it in case it does do something, it doesn't affect you. So the comments down here, scary thing is those of us who do disconnect will also be out of touch with the news and the happenings. There's just a really intense overreaction here. This person here says, October 4th is the next big thing. We all gonna die. I've been posting a lot. Now I'm going dark until after October 4th. We should check back and see if it really does.
I actually got my life threatened, it says.
Yeah. They're planning something huge. Please be away from the radios, TV, and cellular devices. Trust in Jesus and start praying. I agree with that part. Yeah, we've got some videos to show you, some more videos to show you here too.
But what we were talking about earlier is, while you're queuing those up, is, with the EU Digital Services Act happening in phase 2, going through a couple weeks ago, and then the UK Online Safety Bill, that coming into action. Obviously, they're going to be happy to see like a bunch of stories flying around the internet that are ridiculous to justify their ministry of truth.
Exactly. This doesn't do us any good. When people come out and start reacting this way, this doesn't help our cause at all. And I'll tell you exactly why this doesn't help our cause at all in just a few minutes. It doesn't. This is not good for us to react this way. Yeah, no. So go ahead and hit the thumbs down if that's what you're here to do. That's fine. Hey, buddy. I guess it's the same thing. This one's just going to show this one's just going to show.
Yeah, that's the movie Cell.
Cell.
So they're saying
okay.
it's like predictive programming.
Yeah, so the Cell was predictive programming.
Revelation of the method.
Yeah. I know that trailer is so rough, man. I don't really want to play it. But yeah.
It's not your son, Clay. No.
But they got, John Cusack and Samuel Jackson, those are pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Stephen King
for that
did
kind
that
of movie.
Yeah,
for that kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy here is he's just scrolling through the FEMA's website and FCC website. So this is what it, folks, this is supposed to be a conspiracy video on X. It's nothing. He's showing you the clip from the movie Cell, and now he's scrolling through now it's the FCC and FEMA's website, and that's content. That's content, right? I don't know. Now let's get into some of the folks who are really running hard with the theories here. This one is Jason Shurka. That his name? I think it's Jason Shurka. And it's 5 minutes long. I don't want to play that. Let's start with her. Let's start with Kendall Bailey. Kendall in Kentucky. Now, as you can see,
it's been marked.
Yeah, this one here. False information reviewed by independent fact checkers, and
who get paid $800 a pop apparently too.
Well, yeah, I'd be popping it too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So let's listen to what she says and see if is it reasonable. Should I click the CY here?
Yeah, click the CY.
Yeah, let's see. no evidence FEMA emergency will cause DNA damage. If she makes that claim, let's see, fact checker, PolitiFact, anything PolitiFact says is false.
And AP News is always all over this kind of stuff too.
I know, I usually want to go against them.
Which, to be fair, they do gaslight us all the time.
They do. They gaslight us all the time. So you can see there, that's what that means. So let's just check this out. Oh, hang on now. Audio. There we go. All right.
A warning going around that on October 4th, and if it doesn't happen on October 4th, it's going to be on October 11th at 2:22 Eastern. The emergency broadcasting system under FEMA is going to be activated, and this is like the high-pitched beep saying this is only a test. It's not a test. It's going to be sending these high-frequency signals into cell phones, radios, TVs, with the intention of...
Okay, there's a claim.
Well, also remember we were noticing that some people said 222. So is that like special knowledge? Because all of the other official documents say 220.
Yeah, the official documents all say 220, 1120 Pacific. So we heard 222 on what video?
I think it was Reese also, right?
It was InfoWars.
Right.
InfoWars
Reese,
ran.
Greg.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so on InfoWars, they use 222. So when you hear people using it's going to happen at 222, all they did was they watched InfoWars and they're repeating what they heard there. They didn't actually, they're not reading what FEMA put out. The wireless emergency test will last for 30 minutes. Once your phone receives the signal, though, it goes out. Some people seem to think that your phone's going to buzz and put out signals for 30 minutes. Anyway, so you can see she's made a claim here. It's not a test, she said. They're actually going to fire signals at us, So that's irresponsible. I mean, unless she's going to give us now, she's going to prove me wrong and come back with some good information, some solid information as to why that's the case. Let's continue to listen. I'm talking too much.
Activating nanoparticles, including graphene oxide. What does graphene oxide do to the human body?
All right, so what I'm actually going to...
Well, it induces...
Stop. I'm probably going to have to not play too much of this because I'm afraid that...
Yeah, we don't want to be accused of misinformation.
Yeah, YouTube is going to think that it's us saying it. These claims about graphene oxide, plausible, reasonable, fine, but that's the problem here. Everybody's got a little bit of plausibility, a little bit of believable information, and then just wild claims out of nowhere. Let's see. This is. Have we already seen this one? Yeah, we watched that one. And here's the big one. Here's the big guy, Jason Shurka. And it's very interesting because the same people who are bringing you the fear about this, it's the Reawaken America tour. It's I don't want to say it's QAnon crowd necessarily, but it's definitely that ilk. And I want
the Drain the Swamp crowd or whatever.
Yeah. So if you're already irritated at me for the way I'm talking about this right now, I encourage you. I encourage you to hang on. This is not going to be a long show. We're going to keep it right around an hour. We've got one topic for you today because I want to make sure that you understand why it is that I am not a fan of this kind of stuff. And what should a Christian do? How should you think? If you're a follower of Christ, how should you be thinking about this and about the way these people are pumping their version of reality? So let's listen to Shurka here a little bit. This gentleman here is, well, I'll just let you decide.
I was asked to share the following message with the world. Remember,
But now I've listened to him a little bit already. He was asked to share this message with the world. He's asked to share these messages by non-physical beings, first of all. So first of all, there's that. Now, let's just say that that's actually the truth.
Pleiadian downloads.
Those would be demons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think anyone told him to do this, but this is his narrative. This guy's he has a pretty strong, now this is not his Twitter, this is somebody else's Twitter. They've shared his video, but he has a pretty hefty following out on social media. And this is why right here.
I'm only the messenger. What you choose to do with this information is up to you and your own free will.
I see now that's a little bit of gaslighting. I'm going to bring you the truth, and hey, I'm not responsible for it. I'm just telling it to you because I get the information. I am the chosen one. I am the Gnostic guru here, and I will pass it along to you, and you're responsible for what you do with it, right?
On October 4th at 2:22 p.m. Eastern Time.
There it is again, 2:22.
It's almost code for just showing your card that you're totally a shill or something.
Right. Oh, this guy too, Jason Shurka. I don't know if it's in this video. I saw it in another one. He also gets down with the numbers. It's gematria. So
right.
he broke it down gematria style.
The false light.
Right, with October 4th, the date and the day of the year and the time. Folks, we're here to tell you, if you're getting into the numbers and you're convinced that the numbers have some power to them and all that.
Sorcery, that's just sorcery.
That's Gnosticism. It's sorcery, yeah, no doubt about it.
Occultism.
It's the foundation of occultism. Now, gematria is no doubt an element of the, how to explain, the Hebrew scholars from back in the day, from back before Christ. And for instance, the number of the beast and things like that. These things, they had significance in the Hebrew alphabet. The letter, the aleph, the first letter is also a 1, and so each letter has a corresponding number to it.
Well, 222 is 6.
Yeah, and the Monster. Remember the Monster energy drink?
Yes.
And 222 is 6, exactly. All right, well, let's let the guru here go.
Emergency broadcast system will be activated across the entire United States under the leadership of FEMA, disguised as a test. However, this test will be used to send a specific high-frequency signal through devices like smartphones, radios, and...
Okay, now there's the claim, folks. It's going to send a specific high-frequency signal that's designed to do something to you or to those people who have metal in their body for some reason.
Well, and by the way, this has been a very popular belief amongst internet peeps about the fact that they're sending us signals through the Wi-Fi. I mean, think about all the blue light on the street right now as well.
Well, there is the LiFi technology where
LiFi.
you'll be able to get your internet. It's not very efficient, at least at the stage it's in now, where instead of having a Wi-Fi router that emits radio signals, it will emit light signals, which is really not feasible at all if you're downstairs and your Wi-Fi and your LiFi system is upstairs or vice versa.
Well, they claim that they can do that, though. I mean,
but in a large area,
in LiFi with the right lights. And
imagine a football stadium, and everybody in the football stadium wants to be connected to whatever's going on. You might get it that way, but it's so far it's been pretty inefficient. Now, but we did hear that one. What was that video we watched one night in here? We were working late. The guy who gave the LiFi.
Yeah, I've seen a few presentations on that, and the reason why they got rid of lead and paint is not really for our health, but because they wanted to be able to see through the walls.
I've heard that too.
Right. Yeah. So, and I think Technocracy News just put an article out about LiFi. So it drips and trickles through. This idea is definitely not new, in other words.
Yeah, so you take a technology like that, like the ability to transmit signals through light, which that's I used to work in a fiber optic cable manufacturing plant, and that's moving signals great distances with light. So it's not that far-fetched of an idea. But then you take it and you add the Gnosticism with it, and the special hidden knowledge, and you get this.
TVs with the intention of activating graphene oxide and other nanoparticles that have been inserted into billions of human beings around the world through the obvious medium.
Now, I don't doubt, obviously, for those of you who might be new here, my own mother has been affected by the jab in a very severe way.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about clots. So when it comes to that, and Summer brought us information from
Peggy.
Her name is Peggy. We'll just give her
Bali.
first name.
Yeah.
Who is a naturopathic. She's a blood specialist.
Yeah,
right?
she does live blood analysis, dark field live blood analysis, and she's been doing it for over 30 years, and she's had her training in Germany, so she's very, astute. And so she's been able to provide us footage, if you will, of, blood that was out there before the whole 2020 event and the injectables, and then blood afterwards. And there is absolutely evidence that can be seen of what the devastation that it has done to people's blood.
Yeah, no doubt there is something going on. You can see that blood there's something in there, and if you can see in this video that we've got here somewhere on our True Normal TV channel, you need to be subscribed to our backup channel, which is True Normal TV. But this video, little music video intro bumper thing called Surprise Outbreak. Let me take the volume down. But so in this video, what you see in the background here is part of Peggy's dark field analysis on the blood. So you see there over Dr. Tony Fauci's face.
We'll put that up again. We should put that on the mobile app, because remember, we had to take it down.
Yeah, because it's too risque over here. But you can see what's going on there. This is a live blood analysis, and right in the middle of the field there is something that doesn't belong. And you can see how the cells look pretty good, but healthy blood cells would be more plump and round. And these are, you can see when they're stacking up.
And things that look metallic.
Yeah, that right in the middle. That thing right in the middle. Yeah, you can see it. Isn't that, what do you think? I mean, that should be a poster, right? Come on. You've got dark field blood analysis showing stuff in the blood over
Fauci.
Schwab's face.
Oh, that's Fauci. Oh, okay. You're looking. Oh, right. Yes.
I got them all.
With Schwab.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's that country hick there. Look at that guy. And but you can see there's something in the blood there, and I'm not familiar with dark field analysis, but it could be metallic. Now you see here where the cells are. These doesn't really show a good example of where they're stacked up like coins.
Yeah, the other video we'll upload it. Yeah. We'll upload it onto the mobile app so you guys can check it out. It's a different layer of footage.
Yeah.
Everyone will be affected regardless of your status. The plan is to also do this in Israel at the same exact time. There are certain organizations that are doing their best to stop this in both Israel and the United States.
So
hopefully they will be able to stop this.
This is InfoWars, right? I was listening. I heard just in the background earlier on. Maybe you were listening to the Greg Reese's his report.
Yeah, the Reese report.
Yeah, and InfoWars. They're all just repeating what they heard on InfoWars.
Yeah.
And stopping this in Israel looks promising, but stopping this in the United States is still up in the air. This will also include Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and Alaska.
That's because it includes the United States and its territories. I mean, you see the way he's giving. It's also going to include this. That's because it's going to be a test over the United States and its territories and tribal reservations.
If the October 4th date does not occur for any reason,
on October 11th.
The backup plan will be to do it on October 11th at the same time. In the case that this is not able to be stopped, I ask you all to shut off your phones and all other relevant devices at 2 p.m. Eastern time for a period of 2 hours to be safe. This type of wavelength can affect us physically, mentally, and emotionally.
So, he never tells you what wavelength. What's the frequency of that wavelength? What is it? Right? I mean, you're the expert. You're telling us to shut our phones off because it's going to hurt us. What's the frequency, Kenneth? I don't know. You know that one, right?
Yes.
The REM song?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you ever hear the story of how that... Okay, I'm off on a tangent here. Did you ever hear the story of why that REM song was called What's the Frequency, Kenneth?
No.
There's a story that... this is really a tangent here. The story of... that Dan Rather told.
Wow.
The story that Dan Rather told about... At some point when he was a young reporter, someone attacked him, like he was mugged him or something. But he didn't take his wallet or anything. They just had him up against the wall, and he was holding him. And he was asking, "What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency?" And so that was a story that Dan Rather told.
That's one of the lyrics that's in REM.
Yeah, and so that's they had heard that story, and that's a pretty good way to.
Well, I used to live on Michael Stipes Road when I was at UGA in Athens.
Athens, GA.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the question: did I just make all that up? Did I just invent that out of whole cloth? Or is it true? You don't know, do you? Because that's how these people operate. You can throw it out there, and if you're convincing, and if you act like you really are bought into it and you believe it too. By the way, let's look at Jason Shurka a little bit, just so you know. You want to know what someone's worldview is, so you can know whether or not they're coming from a place that are they trustworthy. Well, we're a what's it called? We're a Burning Man. And let's see. I'm just going to clarify for you here about symbolism, why it's not satanic. Why do we reincarnate in the first place, right? So we're into reincarnation. We're into he's talking about aliens are here quite a bit. Life is a game of transmutation. What that means, that's New Age idea that you're that's Gnosticism. You're getting out of the flesh and you're getting into the spirit. You're evolving. What's it called, son? It's called the It's called the
the Ascension.
Yeah, the Ascension protocols.
Right. I can't remember what it was. Sasha Stone. Yeah. The mechanics of ascension.
Yes.
Yes.
The mechanics of ascension. Indeed. So this is what we're dealing with. It's this kind of stuff.
The other day, I was asked to share an important message with the world.
Who asked you to do it? And what is the frequency, Kenneth?
Regarding an upcoming event occurring on October 4th of 2000.
I'm just telling you, folks, don't trust these grifters. Okay? And I'll tell you why it's a bad idea to trust them anyway. Here's another one, Off-Grid Secrets. Check this out.
Dark predictions for October 4th. You might want to stay tuned for this one because something's going to happen. Okay, this is from a government website, FEMA, okay? A national emergency alert for October.
It's a government website. Therefore, what I'm about to tell you is clearly, it's obviously a conspiracy, right? There's...
October 4th. Stay tuned because this is important. First, I'm going to read what they are telling us, and then I'm going to tell you my prediction, okay? The national test will consist of 2 portions, okay? Approximately 2:20 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4th, okay? Make sure to read this. This is important. Text messages will be sent to all TV.
By the way, that's not text messages. Text messages don't come to your TV.
Test messages.
There's a test message. We'll let him slide. This is all they do. I can do this, right? I can just show you the website and I can read it and say, look, here's some really important information. It's a big deal. Something huge is going to happen. And I just read the press release for you, and I tell you that there's this weird frequency that's going to hit you in a funny way, and people just believe it.
TVs, radios, and cell phones, okay? Okay, the first part will be directed to all.
What do they believe, though? They're not really saying anything. It's just fear. They're fomenting fear in you, and when they can get you anxious or interested or intrigued or something, then that's how they become grifters on the internet.
Cell phones, okay? The message will display in English or Spanish, blah, 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 blah. So the second part will be sent to radios and television, okay? And also there's a backup date of October 11th. So saying at 2:20 p.m., they'll broadcast for approximately 30 minutes, okay? All compatible wireless phones that are switched on within a range of an active cell tower could receive this message. So one thing you can do to protect yourself is shut this off is the first thing I'll let you know on October 4th. Maybe keep your phone off. I don't know what that'll do. Like, do you remember the old days when your phone used to ring and it would affect the speaker?
Oh, yeah,
this is not true. You can research this yourself. Okay, so I'm no scientist, but I don't know the effect of having multiple millions of people, almost 400 million people's phones ringing at the same time over a 30-minute period. I don't know what that'll do. Like, do you remember the old days when your phone used to ring and it would affect the speaker in the room? Beep, 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 and it would start crackling the speaker?
There's no reason to assume that every phone is going to be ringing. It's not going to be ringing anyway. It's going to be an alert, a notification.
Well, we do know, and somebody out there is thinking, well, what about DARPA and what about how they use microwave radiation for crowd control? We know that happens. We're not saying it doesn't.
Nobody here is saying that the government isn't nefarious and doesn't do nefarious things, and that DARPA is they were into C-19. How can I say? I don't want to say these words because it always affects the video, but jab technology. DARPA was working on that. They're working on it now.
Medical countermeasures.
Countermeasures are weapons. I am completely on board with the fact that it was a BIO weapon.
Well,
and so I'm down with that. I'm just telling you that the way these people are handling information on the internet and sharing it with people is not good for us, because they're like monkeys at their first fire.
Yeah, it just justifies why they need to silence all the tabloid news that goes around. And the biggest issue that we should all be talking about is the EU Digital Services Act and the UK Online Safety Bill.
Yeah.
Because they're going to roll that out incrementally in phases, and then start coming after people legally.
Yeah, those things are our immediate threats. This is a distraction. This will keep you from being on the right track.
If you haven't seen part 1, check out part 1. Me, personally, I'll be shutting off all my devices, routers, and things like that October 4th. My personal decision. And I'm going to declare this National Shut My Phone Off Day for me and anyone that's interested. It's also National Animal Day, which is interesting. I also want people to realize that you do have a choice. You don't have to go through things just because people say that you have to, and this is what's happening.
Looks like he's getting ready to do some ayahuasca, and
I know I still can't get used to these new formats, like the TikTok format, where the person's.
It's awful.
It's just like always sort of moving. It's kind of makes you feel queasy.
You're looking up somebody's nostrils.
And they're always, it's always like this. I don't know. We do shorts here, but that just seems. I don't know. I can't get used to it. It bugs me. Sorry, I'm in the flesh.
If you haven't heard about what's going on October 4th, check it out. Happy birthday if you do have that birthday. But also, I decided, and I never do this, because some of you guys suggested this sometimes, to go and see what October 4th means in Gematria. And boy, was I surprised. Let me show you what. So keep in mind, October 4th is the 277th day of the year, okay? So I type in 277 into the Gematria calculator.
Well, okay, so that's the 277th day of the year. Let me do something. I'll show you how it works here. I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to do 365 minus 277. Okay, so that's 88. Ooh, look at that. That's even better. Why didn't you do that? There's 88 days left in the year on October the 4th. 88 is a much more resonant number, a much more occult number, right? That's the number. That's the Nazi number, right? Why not use that one and see what that one means, right? It's arbitrary, completely arbitrary. Sorry.
Right, and keep in mind that even on the FEMA site, it says that this is the second test to all cellular devices. So they did this back in 2018.
Yeah.
So I guess, you could argue that because of the injectables, people would have a higher sense of,
No doubt. People have been traumatized, so you can understand why people would be nervous about anything coming out of the federal government.
And we know about chemtrails. And
Chemtrails,
what they're the metals that get into your body because of that.
Yeah, full of metals. But this is a bridge too far. This makes us look stupid.
You get cloud, dimension, rabbit hole, God, ha 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 ha, atomic, what? And then I was like, okay, well, let's see what else is on this list. And I'm going to make this video just to show you. This could be coincidence. Number 277 means these words, concerning. Things to note here on this list: original God, crashes, stalking the night Comcast censored the Big Apple, also known as New York.
It's like doing a
Fallen
crossword
ones.
puzzle these days. You know, this is how people do crossword puzzles now.
Oh boy, yeah. I know. I told Summer I was hesitant about even doing this video because I know it's just gonna bug some people what I'm just gonna say tonight. Okay. So what we know is that this phone isn't capable of producing any more frequencies than it has already produced. I've made this phone produce every frequency it can. It could something be hidden in there that's going to activate on the 4th? Yeah, that it could be. I guess that's possible. It's just possible, right? But you can see the bulk of these people are not making reasonable suggestions other than turn your phone off, right? But they're going all the way with the most sensational, and I'm going to say unfounded claims imaginable. I'm not talking about what was in the jab or anything like that. I'm not even talking about how 5G might work with all of that. I'm not even talking about that. All that's plausible too. But this is not good for us, right? This sensational, unfounded. And don't misunderstand my point, please. I'm not saying that our federal government and its agencies are above deception, or that they would even outright murder the citizens. They will, plainly. We've seen it. But there's very good reason, to question federal government and local government and state governments. What I am saying is that it does no service to anyone to promulgate dubious claims framed in overtones of fear, loose speculations, especially when it's so blatantly obvious that the messengers here that we've seen so far anyway don't even really have a rudimentary handle on what is scientifically feasible today or what would even be scientifically feasible in the next 30 years. FEMA said on September 21st, a few days ago, in an email to one of the fact-checking agencies that the claims of dangerous emissions are false. And so you see what happens. You see how this divides us. When you get involved with black and white thinking, if you're speaking out against these people, then you're a shill. You're one of those. Like, it's the same reason we come on here and we tell the truth about Tim Ballard and Sound of Freedom. And suddenly we're godless leftists. Why is there no nuance? Are we not allowed any nuance anymore? Can we not evaluate each claim as it comes? These alerts are created and sent by the same way you get. I've already said it too many times. The same way you get your Amber Alerts and stuff. So, they had experts, the fact-checking agencies, which I don't trust either, but they don't get everything wrong. They had experts interviewed and said there's no evidence that these messages can have nefarious impacts. Now, what comes out of this cell tower, I don't know. But we're talking about the phone. And definitely not the TV or the radio, right? It'd be just like receiving a text message. That instructs your phone to give you an alert, makes a loud, annoying sound, displays a message. Receiving a message is no different in terms of energy output or radio waves than any other message or alert that you receive. A typical small speaker on a phone might produce 1 watt of power, which would have little impact. It'll have some impact on you. It always does, but it's having an impact on you when you hear it. But would it be a harmful impact? I guess unless you held it up to your ear for 2 hours at full blast, that would have some kind of negative effect. But it's not gonna. The alert is not gonna hurt you. It's modest vibrations in the sounds and tones your phone already makes. Even if the government weirdly wanted cell phones to blast EM radiation at maximum output, and even if the carriers decided to go along with it, it still couldn't do anything that would be even remotely detectable by the human body. Now, over a long period of time, like I said earlier, it can have effects on you, make you nauseous or nauseated and stuff like that. So there's radiation from the cell tower to the phones also. That's how you get your signal. And that's a very low power frequency. But with the emergency alerts, it just won't be any different than any other form of text message or any kind of alert. And in fact, everyone who's telling you to turn off your phone when this happens, that defeats the purpose of the test. Now, Christians, we're commanded with assuming the best of people, okay? Stick with me here, okay? We do that until we don't have any reason to do it anymore. So, it's better for us to assume the best and be wise and be careful. I need to get onto my section here that I had planned for you guys.
You don't want to play the Reese report one?
No, because he goes into stuff that we just can't do on this channel. Yeah,
okay.
He's got a couple things on there where he's talking about the jabs and and how they affect. But we've already heard everything on the Reese video, because that's all they did was
reiterate
repeat what InfoWars had said. So here's what I want to tell you. This is a great opportunity, right? This is a great opportunity for us to hold people accountable. And it's a great opportunity for those of you out there who think I'm full of it. This is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to hold me accountable. And it's an opportunity for us to hold these grifters accountable. Right? All these people who are preying on the naivete and of the average social media lurker, all these people who are taking advantage of the ignorance of the general public to get clicks, to gain viewers, and to collect revenue on your fear, this is our chance. This is a good opportunity to hold them accountable, and we must hold them accountable. Think of it like this, as Summer has already said. What's really important right now? The EU's Digital Services Act, the UK's Online Safety Bill, and all the other draconian lockdowns of free speech, they must be fought tooth and nail. This is taking you away from the real fight. Because there is no way for us to sway these unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats who make such decisions, right, about censorship. Our best case for why the totalitarian tactics must be halted ASAP must be made to the general public. That's our audience. If we want to change something, we've got to convince the general public at large, because the general public can en masse make a real difference. How can we possibly make our best case to the average netizen or the general public when all that these treacherous tyrants have to do is summon up for presentation a few of these examples, these frivolous grifters circulating their silliness, and it's case closed. That's all they have to do is say, look, this is exactly why we have to police the internet. We have to lock it down because, right? Now, should these grifters be censored and removed from the public square? No, absolutely not. The answer is that we must seek the truth from the proper foundation of sound critical thinking that is founded on the wisdom of a biblical Christian worldview. I'll say it again. No, they shouldn't be censored. No, they shouldn't be excluded from the public square, even though it's silliness. What we must do is seek truth from a proper foundation. And that proper foundation is sound critical thinking that is founded on the wisdom of a biblical Christian worldview. Folks, the stakes are too high. The stakes are too high for this kind of silliness here. We have to do better than this. So we have an opportunity. When we see these daffy disclosures, someone liked that one. She liked that part. When we see these
Daffy Duck.
daffy disclosures, we have an opportunity. We can hold them accountable. Any person who claims to love truth, as all these people do, they have said they do, anybody who claims to love truth, anybody out there watching, listening, who claims to love truth and says that they're trying to get the truth out to the people and says that they're trying to wake the people up, if that's how you feel, then you ought to be glad to receive correction when you're wrong, because you want people to have the truth, right? You don't want them to have your opinion. You want them to have the truth. So if you're wrong, you would be glad to be corrected and shown the error of your ways, right? So this is an opportunity. So when October the 5th, the 6th, or the 10th rolls around and none of these calamities have materialized, you got to remind these immature mouthpieces of these defective decrees. If we can police ourselves this way, as responsible free men and women should already be doing, then we have a chance to slow the roll of these meddling middle managers and their odious overlords. I had to throw that one in there for fun too. I'm on an alliteration kick today, so. But this is what we have to do. We have to take responsibility for the public square if we want to keep the tyrants out of it, because there's more of us. There's way more. They can't control all of us. So we have to convince the general public that they're wrong, that the tyrants are wrong. And as long as these people are out here and they've got sort of control of the truth or narrative, we're just going to look stupid. The general public's never going to come along with us. So here's a question. In all of this, if before I get into this part, I'll just check some. Can you see the chat on your side over there?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to invite anybody who has a serious beef with me tonight about what I'm saying. Go ahead and drop, if you've got a complaint or a question or you want to call me out on something, you could drop it into the chat and I will check back with Summer in a few minutes.
Sure.
If there's anything that stands out there.
Okay.
Now, listen, Summer, she's not going to be watching it hyper close. So if she happens to miss your message, we apologize, but because I've just caught her off guard too.
It's okay.
We didn't plan this. So I just want you to know, if you don't appreciate what I'm saying, then let me know why. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me what I've done wrong, and or how I've got it all wrong. How these people are right in some way, and I'll respond to you if someone does, and it doesn't take too long. So who do you obey when things like this happen? The follower of Jesus Christ has a specific responsibility before God in relation to all kinds of lies. Proverbs 12:22 says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. Now we hear a lot of people who make these kind of claims, as we saw earlier. Where is it here? The pink one, this one. I've been posting a lot. Now I'm going dark until after October 4th. They're planning something huge. Trust in Jesus and start praying. October 4th is the next big thing. We're all going to die. Okay. Well, listen. If you know, and I mean if you know, that the government, media, and or societal leaders are embracing lies or purposely promoting deceptions, two things are required of you. You must not participate in those lies, and you are to expose those lies. Right? Fair enough. That's right. That's what these people are doing, right? They're not participating in the lies. They're exposing the lies. Not so fast. It's easy enough for us to grasp the idea of exposing the lies of other people. But Ephesians 5:11, as it says, do not participate in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. Right? We have three spiritual weapons, the weapons of our warfare. 3 spiritual weapons: the gospel, prayer, and I mean specifically praying for the corrupt leaders, praying for the Lord to bless them. That's what we're commanded to do. Even though it doesn't feel right, that's our command, and God knows best. So that's 2, the gospel and prayer. And 3rd, Ephesians 5:11, expose the lies. Don't expose people to lies. Expose the lies. That's kind of a subtle difference there. So the 9th commandment is very specific, that we are not to lie to others. It's very easy for us to point out or to say that other people are lying, but the 9th commandment is specific. We're not to lie to others. Exodus 20, verse 16, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Right? That's not loving. We're commanded to love our neighbor as ourselves. You can see also Ephesians 4:25 and 1 Peter 3:10. Ephesians 4:25 is we should be, the verb there is literally truthing one another. Remember that one, son?
Yes.
We should be truthing one another.
Truthing one another. One anothering.
Yeah. And 1 Peter 3:10 also. No deceit comes across your mouth, all across your lips. Sounds simple, right? But not so fast. The implication here goes further than simply not deceiving other people or not concealing a matter to gain an advantage over people. It goes further than that. God has forbidden his people. If you're in Christ, God has forbidden you from recklessly sharing information that you cannot prove to be true. Now, I'm saying these people they're presenting this as a fact. Remember, she said it's not a test. It's going to happen. This high frequency is going to come at you. Well, that's a claim. That's a claim to an absolute truth. God has forbidden his people from recklessly sharing information that's not true. Even if we believe that the government or the elites are even capable of doing it. And I believe that they're capable of harming people. I don't think it's possible for them to harm people in this particular way yet. But even if we really believe that they want to do it, even if we believe they're capable of doing it, unless we know it, unless we can show it, to share it would be sin for you. In other words, if you're spreading information that during the upcoming FEMA FCC emergency alert test, the government or some agency or group is going to be knowingly and purposely transmitting harmful frequencies that will activate nanoparticles in the blood of people who have taken a certain treatment, and you don't have valid knowledge of such a thing being true or even possible, then you are bearing false witness. You're sinning against everyone who hears you, and you're sinning against God. Now, some of this is something that, you're with me all the time. This is something that we take very seriously here. I'm burdened by the whole purpose of what we do here, because we don't get everything right. We get things wrong, but we don't. It's always on our mind. That to bring you information and present it here as a fact, if we don't know it really is, if we just speculate like they've done here, you're not going to get that here. You just won't get that here, because
it comes. Remember, we also spoke about the Machiavellianism, how the ends justify the means. So many people out there are operating in a totally different worldview. So they believe that, hey, I might not have done the research, but I know that this is going to get views, so I'm just going to come out and say a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So you're saying, I see what you're saying there. You're saying that usually you think about Machiavelli, government officials, corrupt officials being Machiavellian. But yes, this is in the same sense. The ends justify the means. I see an opportunity here.
Yeah.
And one element of Machiavellianism is...
the culture is steeped in that. We don't even recognize it, but we are.
You could be convinced in Machiavellianism. You could be convinced that I need to tell people this, even if I don't know it's true, because I need to warn them, because you can convince yourself that it's feasible and just to deceive people or to run forward with false information. That's Machiavellianism. So that's a good point. I see that in these people too.
There's that, and then there's also maybe people that are just genuinely very high anxiety and they're fearful, and so they justify it like, well, better I pass it along and say it.
There's a lot of people who just don't know better. Yeah. So, but it's a sin. You're sinning against God. All right. When we engage in spreading such information that cannot be rightly and truly supported with facts and valid, accurately interpreted data, then we're participating in the same kinds of lies that the establishment promoted during the pandemic and still promotes to this day about the jabs. Right? This is the point. These people are playing the exact same game that the establishment played on during the pandemic, right? By not having data to back up their claims. Right, that is what they shoved down our throats during the pandemic. So if you've shared ideas as truth that you can't know truthfully or valid, if you're a Christian, you have to repent of that sin immediately. God commands it of us, and Jesus Christ said in John 14:15, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. So the follower of Christ is aware that there are many ways to bear false witness. Right? It's not just what you say, it's what you do. It's what you don't do and what you don't say. Right? You can even endorse a lie with your behavior. So the Bible requires us to ask hard questions, like, are the authorities telling the truth about this and various other matters? Right? We have to be vigilant. And a more difficult question that can't be forgotten, am I participating in lies? So be vigilant, because the father of lies is stalking you right now. And he's looking for an opportunity to devour you with deceptions, or to devour you with the newest interesting theory about high-pitched frequencies coming from your phone, or with meaningless endeavors deep down the fruitless rabbit holes of social media and the so-called truth movement. We have to be certain that a person is trustworthy before we place our confidence in them and what they're saying, because even with our behavior, we are either endorsing the truth or we are supporting a lie. Or by your inaction, you're co-signing the sin of another. So, are you upholding the truth? Or are you, by excitement, over-eagerness, or negligence, encouraging the useless contradictory information and bearing false witness? It's become far too common for neglect for us, for Christians on social media especially, to neglect to do our due diligence and just simply repeat what we hear from others online, like these people have just repeated InfoWars, right? You repeat what you hear online, or what you read on social media, or maybe what you hear at work. And of course, many of those who spread sensational and wrong information are not intentionally lying. This is what Summer just pointed out. There's a lot of people who are not knowingly, they're not wittingly misleading you, but they're still bearing false witness, right? And if you share it yourself, you are too. We can't do this. See, this is how we have, if you want your nation back, if you want freedom, you want liberty, this is how you get it. You stop living by lies. In our world, as it is today, with an incessant flow of information at our fingertips, right? It's almost endless opportunities to fool or be fooled. Have to consider, is it loving to our neighbor to give them information that we can't truly justify, even if we think it's really, really important? Do we glorify God when we carelessly boost bad information or endorse known lies? Is it loving? And does it glorify God to provoke and reinforce fear? Are you loving your neighbor and glorifying God when you tolerate or stimulate fearful and fruitless reports? Jesus Christ said, "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored. That's got to do with what's its purpose. It goes on. It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. Jesus says, you are the light of the world. Now, Jesus is the light of the world, right? But here he's saying, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but they put it on a stand, and it gives light to all the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 5:13-16. So how do we expose the unfruitful works of darkness? It doesn't require us to go into the shadows and into the dark corners. We do it by the way we live. We do it by obedience to Christ. That's how we let our light shine. So, Christian brother or Christian sister out there watching this, the Lord Jesus Christ called you the light of the world. Consider that. Because we have no righteousness or light of our own. It means that Christ, who is the light of the world, is in you. Yes, we're the salt of the earth, and we purify what is rotten, and we preserve that which is good, but we're also carrying the light of the world, which implies what that means for us is that we have to live out, we have to show the highest moral character to the world. That's what we give to the world, is the highest possible moral character. It means we must stand in stark contrast to sin and its corrupting effects. We must stand for the light of truth in contrast to the sinful darkness of ignorance and lies. It says in Philippians 2:15-16, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish, in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life. Now that is packed. When we do what I've tried to describe here tonight, we live out the faith, we live out this highest moral character, we don't engage in this kind of speculation or fear mongering, but we expose lies. We don't expose people to lies. We expose lies, and we don't bear false witness ourselves in one of those three ways we described, by what you don't do or don't say, or by what you do say. That's how you stand out in a twisted, crooked generation. Among the darkness, that's how you stand out. How do you do it? How do you get to that? How do you know and make sure that you're shining your light? Verse 16, Philippians 2. Holding fast to the word of life. It's in the scripture. That's where you have to be. You have to make it your food. It's a delicate balance between exposing lies and exposing others to lies. I've said that a couple times already, so it might need to explain it. There's a balance here between exposing, the lies or just exposing other people to all kinds of darkness that's unnecessary. We endorse lies when we refuse to expose lies. That's one. We endorse lies when we push false information, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly. The effect is the same. When we do that, we sin and we harm others with our sin. That's just the truth. Do you love the truth, or do you want it your way? That's why we need Christ. We need Christ. We need His Holy Spirit to guide our steps in His Word, to teach us, to tell us when we're wrong, to reprove us, to correct us, and to train us in righteousness, that we may be complete and equipped for every good work. 2 Timothy 3:16-17. So, we cannot engage in it. We must not endorse lies. We must not let tyranny advance, and we must not quicken unfounded fear lest we do the enemy's work for him, lest we do George Soros's work for him. Right? When we refuse to pray for the corrupt leaders that the Lord would bless them, we're doing the enemy's work for him. That's a command direct from the Lord Jesus Christ. I know it's not easy. I struggle with it too. I don't do it much. And that's a flaw. That's a problem for me personally. So I'm not condemning you. I'm talking to me. So, on the day when Alexander Solzhenitsyn was arrested for the last time in 1974, he released a short essay titled Live Not by Lies. He loved his neighbors, right? The Russian people. He loved his neighbors by imploring them to reject, repudiate, disavow, and deny the lies they were being told, the lies that they were repeating. Solzhenitsyn said, quote, "The most accessible key to our liberation is a personal non-participation in lies. For when people renounce lies, lies simply cease to exist. They're like parasites. They can only survive when they're attached to a person." He goes on to say, never knowingly support lies. Everyone's going to make mistakes, but never knowingly go out and support lies. He says, yes, at first it will not be fair. Someone will have to temporarily lose his job. For the young people who seek to live by truth, it'll be difficult too, because it'll be at first very complicated for them, because in the public schools, the tests and quizzes are stuffed with lies. And so choices will have to be made. When we see things like this happening, we have to make a choice. Not an easy choice for the body, but it's the only choice for the soul. As Scott Brown, he's the one who wrote this book. We've shared this one with you too. The Thinking Biblically About Forced Jabs. He said, it's both our biblical and civic duty before God to protect the family, the church, and the individual from lies. We must protect them even from civil governments when they lie. And we must protect them from individuals, from our own lot, when they lie. This is the proper application of the 9th commandment. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. We face a powerful enemy. We're facing powerful lies. We're watching the world embrace lies. We're watching the world fall into mass deception right before our eyes. 2 Thessalonians 2:11, because they refuse to love the truth and be saved. Therefore God sends them a strong delusion, so that they may believe what is false, in order that all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Romans 1 at the end of the chapter says something very similar, that these people, they weren't only proud of their sin, they were eager to bring others along with them in it. Therefore, let us stand firm and do battle courageously with the weapons of our warfare, the gospel, prayer, and exposing darkness. Those are the weapons the Lord has given us. And He's given us the instruction manual on how to use them. Right? It's exposing darkness, not exposing others to darkness. That's a tough balance. And finally, let us not live by lies. Instead, let us live as the Apostle Paul tells us, Ephesians 6. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. Put on the whole armor of God, so that you can stand firm. And whatever the world throws at you, or the devil throws at you, or that our own people throw at us. Okay, we're right at the hour and a half. Did anything come across?
Yes, I kept thinking about James 1:18 in the exercise of His will. He brought us forth by the word of truth, so that we would be a kind of first fruits among His creatures. So that is very
right.
instructional.
And that first, those first fruits, the idea of those first fruits.
First fruits among his creatures.
Yeah, the idea of the first fruits. That's what you would, the farmer would put back, or the husbandman of the land. I mean, put back the first and very best of his crop to dedicate to the Lord. And that's what you are if you're in Christ. You're the first and very best of the crop of humanity. You're the first fruits.
Yeah, he brought us forth by the word of truth.
Yeah. Brought us forth by the word of truth. I mean, it means that's where the path of salvation is found, is in the word of God. And he brings in, it is the source of truth. The Lord is the source of truth, and his word is the infallible, inerrant, fully sufficient word for faith and practice and everything you need to know to live in this world. It doesn't matter how crazy it gets. God isn't fooled. He isn't surprised by it. So did we get any questions or anything come across there?
No, not that I saw.
Well, okay, that's cool. That's surprising. Listen, if you do have a complaint, or you didn't like the direction I took this one tonight, leave us a comment under this video, or
hello@armoroftruth.net.
Email us at hello@armoroftruth.net and let us know if you were pleased or upset by this message. We hope you were blessed by this message, because that was the intent. And we hope that you'll take this message for what it is, which is we were praying there would be an edifying message, that you would understand that this we can't engage this. We can't let ourselves get involved with being a part of it. When we see lies, right? Just like when we see lies in the government, we're all very eager to point those out. We're a little bit less eager to point them out, when we're not too sure about someone who's saying something that we kind of agree with on the internet. And we're even less likely to call out lies when it's us. When we're either lies of or sins of omission, things that we're not doing, or sins of commission, things that we actually do or say. So I think I've made my point, and we're right at an hour and a half, and that's a good time for this show.
That's all.
That all you got? All
Yep.
right. So this is, what is this day? This is Monday. This is Monday. Wow, I've been here all day today. So we look forward to seeing you again here this week. Probably on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being here with us late tonight. And let me go ahead and remind you, if you would, please hit the hit the thumbs up here to this, if you would.
And be sure to check out our new Substack article.
New Substack article is available on Substack, and at 9 a.m. in the morning it will be released to the Armor of Truth mobile app. It's already there, but you'll get an alert about it then. So please, if you would, my friends, please just like this video. Tap that thumbs up. Right now we've got 46 likes, 76 concurrent viewers. I know a lot of people didn't like. Look, if you didn't like the video, go hit the thumbs down. It's cool. That tells us that helps us to understand whether you like the video or not. So do that. Take a moment to like this video, share it, leave a comment. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're doing good. We're gaining subscribers here lately. Something's happening out there, so join the party. It really does help the channel. Download the Armor of Truth mobile app today. It's 100% free. You'll get live notifications and a direct link whenever and wherever we go live. Exclusive content, articles, reports, and resources. If you can support Armor of Truth financially, every single donation of any amount makes a difference. It's a blessing. Use the Armor of Truth mobile app Give tab, or visit our website, armoroftruth.net/donate, or follow the links in the description under this video. If you could set up a recurring monthly donation to help us plan for the future of AOT, that makes a huge difference. So what are you waiting for? Download the Armor of Truth mobile app today. My name is Brad, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Summer. Together, we're Armor of Truth, and we're seeking a worldview revolution through God's revelation.
Faith is resistance.
Yes. God bless you, friends. We'll see you next time.
Jesus is Lord.
The hammer comes down and beats you over the head for the rest of your life with a big national security stick. And so that people learn to duck their head and not speak up. Because bad idea now.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps.
Find us, armoroftruth.net.
In the age of technocracy, scientism, and pop atheism,
Faith is resistance.
Nietzsche, of course, announced the death of God and called for the birth of the Übermensch, the Superman, who would take humanity to new heights and to create a new world order.
Find us at the Armor of Truth YouTube channel.
This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test.